Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Beautiful day, 75 degrees here in Tampa, and moments ago Laura Oakman spoke with the Bucs head coach Raheem Morris.
Thanks, Dick. All right, Raheem, for a season and a half, you guys have been the underdog. How is the message different now being 5-3, one of the best teams in the NFC, and a favorite?
I don't think the message changes. I think for us, we got to go out and play fast, play hard, play smart, and play consistent. That was one of the major things we hit last night in our meeting is our consistency. That's the difference between the first half of us having more wins and us having less wins. The games that we didn't play well in, we didn't play consistent. So now we all got to turn that little dial up in us to make us play better in the second half. And right now, our most important game is the Carolina Panthers we're playing today.
And it has not been a slam dunk that the Bucs would be successful at home. 2 of their 3 losses have been here. Panthers have won 6 of the last 7 here in this stadium. And the Buccaneers will try to sweep Carolina for the first time in 8 years. Jordan Pugh, a rookie, back deep as the Panthers will get the ball first. And Connor Barth gets this game underway. And Pugh returning from the 2. And is tackled at the 23-yard line, and off we go here. And here is Jimmy Clausen, the rookie, making his 4th start. He is 0 for 3 as he came in week number 3. David Geddes, the impressive rookie. Mike Goodson, of course, the running back with the others injured. And there is the offensive line with Schwartz and Williams, who have been situated on the right side the last few weeks, with Jeff Otah out for the year. Starting from the 23, Steve Smith, who only caught 1 pass last week, and Goodson is tackled by Barrett Ruud and picking up 2 on first down.
Let's take a look at this Tampa defense, struggling to rush the passer up front, looking for more production out of Gerald McCoy, the rookie. Excellent linebacker court. We've got Dakota Wilson starting today in place of Quincy Black, but Barrett Rudd is the guy that makes it work there. And then 14 interceptions, leading the NFL. Let's keep our eye on Rondé Barber and Aqib Talib today, the 2 corners.
Second down and 8, and here is Goodson again with a chance to show what he can do with his first NFL start. He'll be 2 yards shy of the first down as Rondé Barber brings him down.
And I think that run we just saw by Goodson is the type of run we'll see out of him a lot today. He's going to want to try and bend things back against the grain. He's going to want to try and get to the edge a lot more than he's going to want to run it up in between the tackles.
Only 38 carries in his career coming into this game, and the backups each only 1 career carry. Here is the pitch to Goodson off the left side, and a first down for Tampa Bay, close to the 40-yard line. Barrett Ruud making the tackle, a pickup of 7.
Dick, you talked about the offensive line of the Carolina Panthers at the top. That's where they're going to have to lean today, I think, Jim, to try and get things established. That's really the veteran core that they have. Really the left side of the line with Jordan Gross at left tackle and Travell Wharton at guard, with Ryan Khalil the center. That's the strength of their offensive line if they want to run the football.
First down at the 38, 2 tight ends for the Panthers. And the first pass of the game is caught by Steve Smith. Good idea getting him involved early.
Well, when you've got a young quarterback, a rookie quarterback, the things you've got to be able to do is run the ball successfully and then get the ball out of his hand quickly when you want to throw the football. And you saw it right there. Quick 3-step drop, quick route to the flat, and get it to your playmaker, Steve Smith.
Last game we saw them, Jim, against New Orleans, Steve didn't get a catch until about the 4th quarter. That just can't happen with a playmaker like Steve Smith. Get it to him early and often.
And he'll show his frustration if they don't get it to him. Here is Goodson, loses the ball, and it's recovered by Tampa Bay. And it was Sean Jones who makes the recovery.
Well, that's too bad. That's not the start you want. You've got a little drive going, you're running the ball successfully, and then you turn it around in enemy territory.
McCoy caused the fumble.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers in business early because Gerald McCoy causes this fumble. Look at him get a hand in on Mike Goodson. Knocks the ball free. Early turnover helps out his offense.
So the Bucs have the ball on the 47 of Carolina following the turnover, and Josh Freeman pulls it down and a threat to run. He is the second leading rushing quarterback behind Michael Vick in the league, and he gets 5 yards. Taking a look at the Tampa Bay offense, and of course Cadillac Williams, a steadying influence starts. We'll see LeGarrette Blount, and there are 3 rookies, the fullback and 2 wide receivers up front. A rookie, Ted Larson, starts at left guard. Jeff Fain, however, is back at center. He's been out of several weeks, and Blount is in the game right now. Josh Freeman 7-4 in his last 11 starts. 2nd down and 5. Play action. Wide open is John Gilmore. And the backup tight end has a first down deep in Carolina territory inside the 15.
I really like what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did here. They came with a 2 tight end offense, hard play fake to LeGarrette Blount, and then play action out the backside, the left side for Freeman, and finds a tight end free over the middle. Got the Buccaneers thinking, or got Carolina thinking run, 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 and then came with the play action.
29-yard gain. And a first down on the 13. Here's LeGarrette Blount. Tough to bring down. And Blount gets inside the 10. John Beeson, the middle linebacker, stops him, a pickup of 5.
The Carolina Panthers defensive front led by Charles Johnson has 4 sacks, their best pass rusher. Linebacking core has John Beeson moving back into the middle, and he's going to help out the young guy, Nick Harris, getting his first start at outside linebacker. And up the middle, Charles Godfrey, the strong safety, playing at a Pro Bowl level this season.
2nd down and 5. Bucs trying to capitalize on the turnover by Carolina on the first possession. Another play action, and wide open is Aurelius Ben, and Ben, touchdown, Tampa Bay. That didn't take long. Eight-yard pass from Freeman to rookie Aurelius Ben.
What a confident bunch this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is turning out to be. They just brought Aurelius Ben on the backside from one side of the formation to the other, and look at him diving for the pylon. I think that play has to hold up. Inbounds as he takes off, ball hits the pylon for the touchdown.
An 8-yard toss, and now Connor Barth for the extra point. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Josh Freeman with his 11th touchdown pass of the year, putting John Fox and Carolina in a 7-0 disadvantage early here in the first.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Buccaneers leading the Panthers 7-0. Aurelius Ben with his 2nd touchdown catch in his many weeks, 2nd-round draft pick from Illinois. And it didn't take long for Josh Freeman to put the Bucs on the board following the turnover. Jordan Pugh for the 2nd time returning the kick. And a good return to about the 28.
Let's go back to the touchdown. When you've got a good running game, which Tampa has now that they've got Blount going, it opens up so many things in the pass game. Good hard play action fake, and then you find Ben in the flat for the touchdown. Early in the drive, the pass to Gilmore, same thing. Good hard fake, pass to the tight end over the middle. Here's the touchdown again. But that running game, having a good, successful running game on first down, will just open up a ton of things in your play action pass game for you.
First down at the 29. Play fake, Clausen getting a rush and throwing a bit behind the tight end Jeff King, bringing up 2nd and 10.
But when you're struggling, that's a problem, because that's a catch that has to be made to help your offense.
Absolutely, and when you've got a rookie quarterback, the guys around him, the Jeff Kings, the guys that have been in the league for 5 years, they've got to make some plays that maybe they wouldn't normally make. They've got to be able to reach behind them and make that catch. They've got to hold on to the football running through the line of scrimmage. They've got to give them a chance.
2nd down and 10, and the pass incomplete to Steve Smith. Well, Jim, as a coach, you wanted the fast start, and now you trail 7-0. How do you keep the attitude going?
We need to get something going here on this drive, and it's going to be tough because we're already facing the 3rd down. But you've got to keep them up. You've got to walk the sidelines. Stay with it, guys. It's a lot of cliches, Dick, but you know why they're cliches? Because they're true. And right now, John Fox is pulling out every cliche in the book.
And what they really need to do is not just pull a cliche. They've got to pass protect, because here they come with the nickel pressure going to come to Jimmy Clausen right now.
3rd down and 10. Pass caught by Brandon LaFell, and a nice catch on a laser from Clausen. The rookie from LSU picks up 15 yards and a 1st down.
Coach, you talk about making a play. Here's making a play. Puts his foot in the ground, gets in on the slant, gets inside on Elbert Mack, number 33, the dime back, and a well-thrown ball by Jimmy Clausen with allowing LaFell to lead. Leads LaFell, gets him up into the alley, and gets a 1st down.
And he did all of that with a blitz and a free runner coming off of his right side. That's an impressive throw by Clausen.
Now at the 44. And they go to Goodson. Goodson's going to be trapped behind by Adam Hayward. And the Buccaneer linebacker, and this is a deep defense, knocks the Panthers back in a loss of 4.
And notice early, Mike Goodson runs the football. Remember, he came into this game with more receptions than rushes from scrimmage. He's going to try and squirt everything to the edges. All right, on that play, the penetration came up. He tried to dance it outside. Nowhere to go in that situation.
2nd down and 14. Steve Smith's at the top of your picture now. They go to the run. Goodson outside. Good run by Goodson, and he's wrestled down about 7 yards or so shy of the 1st down by Aqib Talib, but he gets 8 out of it.
And that's what you just talked about, Charles. A guy like Goodson, who's not an up inside runner, if he can get the cutback going here and he can find a loose edge like he does there. And then, you know what makes a leader on your football team? A guy like Steve Smith, who's selfless, hasn't caught a lot of balls lately, but look at the effort to block downfield.
He's a guy who plays this game like a linebacker at wide receiver.
Third down and 6. And now a timeout called by the Panthers. And we'll take a break. 8:22 to go in the first. And it's the Buccaneers in front, 7-0.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Mazda. Zoom Zoom. By K Jewelers, the #1 jewelry store in America. Every kiss begins with K. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Normally, as a coach, you discourage your quarterback from taking a timeout this early in the game, but this is a big 3rd and 5, and I think Jimmy Clausen showed some poise there, recognizing that play clock's running down, recognizing the situation, and using the timeout.
And the quick pass caught by David Geddes, and Geddes gets the 1st down, showing some speed after the catch, picking up 9 yards into Buccaneer territory with middle linebacker Barrett Ruud bringing him down.
Geddes is going to get the credit, but watch the blocking going from inside out that helps him on the screen. Here comes Khalil, 67, Wharton, 70. See Geddes coming inside. There's the first block by Rosario on Elbert Mack. Now he's able to get into the alley and get straight upfield and get the 1st down.
On the 43, and here is Goodson off the left side being chased from behind, and good hustle, and maybe a loss. Up 1 yard, Rondé Barber coming from behind to make the play. And for a game break, our first of the day, let's bring in Kurt Menefee.
New Dolphins quarterback Chad Pennington injured his throwing arm in the first play of the game. So Chad Henne comes in to replace him, hands it off to Ronnie Brown, who scores. It's 7-0 Miami with the lead. But Dick, Charles, and Jim, the story is Pennington now out, Henne back in.
So Henne back in again after the big change in Miami. 2nd down and 10 here. And here is Goodson making Josh Vaughn in his first carry. And Josh Vaughn, who was activated off the practice squad this week and was the leading rusher for Carolina in preseason, brought down by Adam Hayward after a gain of 7 yards.
Just signed Josh Vaughn this week, but they feel confident in signing him because he was with the team all during preseason, leading rusher, so they felt good about him understanding the playbook even in a short week.
So again, a third down play for Carolina. Can they keep this drive going? Pressure on Clausen. And down he goes. Barrett Ruud leads the charge, but he had help. Roy Miller was in there as well. Tim Crowder, a third, and a loss of 7.
They were trying to get the ball to their playmaker, Steve Smith, number 89, on a little shallow cross with a rub from David Clowney. Aqib Talib all over him with a little hand on the jersey that goes by undetected. And then the pressure gets to Jimmy Clausen. Barrett Ruud's there. Roy Miller's there. No chance to get rid of the ball.
And of course, they knocked him out of any possibility for a field goal try. So Jason Baker will be kicking, and Michael Spurlock waiting inside his 10. This is a good kick. Fair catch called for by Spurlock right at the 10. And so the Panthers showed a flash of offense there, but still trail 7-0.
Well, if you're talking about giving your team a chance to have early success and you've got a rookie quarterback, then you've got to give him calls that allow him to have early success. And I didn't like the call there by Jeff Davison, the offensive coordinator. Their first 2 third downs, 3-step and quick screen, get the ball out of his hands quickly. There they go to a 5-step drop. Too much time versus the pressure that Tampa was bringing on defense.
Starting from the 11-yard line. And Carolina has a formidable defense despite their 1-7 record. Freeman. And the intended receiver was Mike Williams. Second down and 10. This is a solid defensive secondary that the Panthers have.
It's a secondary that plays well and is cohesive. Richard Marshall is having a really nice season. Charles Godfrey, as we outlined at the top of the show, playing at a Pro Bowl level at strong safety. They are ball hawks. If you give them a chance, they'll make a play on it in the air.
Second down and 10, and they hand off to Cadillac Williams. And Williams is driven back. No gain on the play. So third down coming up. And of course, this is a big third down for the Carolina defense, trailing 7-0, Jim.
Well, it's a big third down. If they can get them off the field here, create some field position once again. They've had field position a couple of times and had to give the ball up. But if you get a stop here, you've got a chance to get the ball around the 50-yard line, maybe in plus territory, and get something going and get that good feeling back.
Spurlock and rookie Preston Parker on the field as wideouts.
Best pass rusher Charles Johnson in the middle now of the defense for the Panthers.
And Freeman, not easy to bring him down at 255 pounds, but Everett Brown does exactly that. And the second-round pick from last year as a sack and a loss of 7.
And would you believe that Everett Brown, who they moved up to get him in the draft, this is his first sack of the season. His first step, his quickness is why they drafted him. Guy off of the edge, finally gets to the quarterback, and as you noted, Dick, not easy to get big Josh Freeman on the ground.
Really a good-looking scheme there by the Carolina defense. They played a cover 2 deep look with man-to-man underneath, and they spied Freeman, so there was nowhere for him to run.
Robert Malone, the rookie punter, and Captain Munnerlyn is there, and the ball squirts out of bounds, and it'll be terrific field position for the Panthers with 4:25 remaining in the first quarter. Remember what Jim said at the outset, Carolina has yet to score a touchdown in the first quarter. They've got an opportunity here. Well, here are the Panthers, who have been outscored 59-12 in the first quarter. No touchdown, just 4 field goals, but they have a chance on the Tampa Bay 42 first down. Play action. McCoy chasing Clausen. Nowhere to go and steps out of bounds after a minimal gain. And let's bring in Kurt Menefee again with a game break. Kurt.
While loses to 5 straight, the Bengals struggles continue. Carson Palmer Picked off by Kelvin Hayden of Indianapolis. 31 yards later, the Colts are on top 10-0 over the Bengals, and they're still in the first quarter. Dick, Charles, and Jim.
Colts trying to find their way on defense, too. They've had injuries as usual on offense. Peyton Manning guiding them, but the defense making some plays to help out.
Second down and 8. Here's Mike Goodson. And Goodson gets maybe a yard or so on the play to the 39-yard line. Gerald McCoy making the tackle, gaining 1. McCoy, the 3rd overall pick out of Oklahoma. And as you mentioned at the outset, trying to get him unleashed for the first time.
He was a guy who was a thinker. And sometimes, as you know, Jim, you have those guys who are deep thinkers and worried about their assignments and their gap and trying to be too precise. They don't turn it loose and play.
When he'll cut it loose, he's just got to learn. He's got to get a little more seasoning. When he starts cutting it loose and not thinking, watch out for this kid.
Speaking about cutting it loose, Clausen has a 3rd down and 7. And Clausen's slant complete to Brandon LaFell and a first down to the 16-yard line. 13-yard pickup with the rookie Cody Grimm on the coverage.
Once again, quick 3-step drop, get it out of Jimmy Clausen's hands fast, make it easy for him to read by spreading things out, and once again, a 3rd down conversion. That's their third down conversion with a quick 3-step throw.
And he cut it loose because he had to drill that one to get it in there for the first down. Well thrown football.
Al Woods, who was signed off the Steeler practice squad, number 95. He's a rookie, is in there on the defensive line. And will have a penalty and a false start call against the Panthers. Jerome Boger, the referee.
False start. Offense, number 47. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
On Jeff King.
Tough start for Jeff King, guys. All right, he had the drop ball in the first drive of the game when it could have helped out the team. Now he jumps offside. He has a little legal procedure here. Hurts him in terms of yardage.
Yeah, and we're off schedule. And staying on schedule means always having it 10 or less is critical when you're a struggling football team.
So it's 1st and 15 on the 31. And we'll have another whistle and another false start call against the Panthers.
Number 47.
And it's the same guy.
5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, he's either not concentrating or he doesn't understand the voice inflections in Jimmy Clausen's cadence. And sometimes
but what he saw was Tim Crowder 96 move and didn't have the discipline to hold in there and stay. Maybe sometimes, right, it's not just that he's not focused. Sometimes you try too hard after a previous penalty.
Hand off to Goodson. Here's Goodson up the middle with a good gain and getting a lot of those yards back. They'll still be shy by 11 yards for the first down. A 9-yard pickup with Rude and Jones.
Now that's a really nice run, but if that were 1st and 10 instead of 1st and 20, that's the type of run you're looking for.
Right, and that's what we're talking about, staying on schedule. Always making sure the distance to gain a first down is 10 or less.
And the pitch to Josh Vaughn. And Josh Vaughn doesn't get much. Maybe a loss of a yard. Sean Jones coming up from the secondary, but this is symbolic of a team that is struggling offensively. The turnover early in the game, drop passes, and then a couple of penalties, 2 in a row on the same guy.
And one of the characteristics of the Tampa defense is that they can always run, and they pretty much beat Josh Vaughn to the corner.
Goodson is back in, 3rd and 12. And a low pass to Jeff King. Incomplete. And Jeff King would like to forget that series. And it is 4th down with under a minute to go here in the first quarter. And a field goal try coming up. John Casey comes on.
Now that would have been a tough catch, though.
Well,
I mean,
Charles,
I know he's got to
agree.
make it, but that's a tough catch right there.
Listen, this kid's dropped 2 passes and had 2 false starts in the first quarter of a football game with a rookie quarterback on the road.
46-yard try by Casey. And the 41-year-old John Casey gives Carolina its first points of the game. He is 11 for 13 on the year. And so it is now 7-3. in favor of the Buccaneers. Well, Fox Wednesday, it's the season premiere of Human Target. The man who will guard your life with his own is getting a little backup. When your life is on the line, they are the team to call. Human Target season premiere Wednesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox. So the Panthers 1-7, and they've got injuries. This was Matt Moore last week, who went down with an injured shoulder, placed on IR. And the quarterback situation today, Clausen, Tony Pike, who played briefly last week, and Armonte Edwards, a wide receiver who had no snaps, was a quarterback in college, drafted as a wideout. 3 rookies on the roster on game day. First time in how long?
First time since 1991, according to our statistics, saying 3 rookie quarterbacks on the roster. Armonte Edwards will be the 3rd quarterback, and he had to take snaps this week in practice under center. Had not done that since high school, playing in the spread at Appalachian State.
Reese Lloyd kicking into the end zone. Michael Spurlock on the return, and he'll be stopped right after he gets to the 10-yard line.
The Panthers play very good defense. They play very well on special teams. They're sound on special teams. They've created field position for their offense. If they can just get it going a little bit on offense, this is a good football team. And I know you're you say, Jim, how can you say that? They're 1-7. I'm watching solid defense. I'm watching solid special teams, and I'm seeing signs of life out of their offense. I like what Clausen has done so far.
First down on the 13 for the Buccaneers. Garrett Blunt. First down. You get a glimpse of what Charles Davis was talking about at the outset of this game, and a pickup of 12 yards with Nick Harris making the tackle.
And Jim, Tampa has to answer right now. And what I mean by that is they got off to a very good, fast, confident start. And sometimes when you start that fast against a team that's 1-7, there's a natural tendency to relax. And Tampa Bay right now has to show that their motor is still revved, because as you pointed out, Carolina's going to fight you on the defensive side of the football.
And that will be the last play of the first quarter. So a Josh Freeman to Aurelius Ben touchdown early on following a turnover. It's the end of the first, with the Bucs leading the Panthers 7-3. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. Here's Josh Freeman, who is off the field, and Josh Johnson, the backup quarterback, is in there out of the shotgun on first down at the 25.
So this really is a wildcat type play, even though it's a quarterback running it.
And here is Josh Johnson running, and he gets the first down. So the wildcat on first down.
Just gives something for the Carolina coaches to have to review on the bench here when you do something like this. It just adds another element to the game.
And look at Mike Williams, number 19, staying on the corner against Chris Gamble, staying with the play, getting good positioning to throw the block that allowed Josh Johnson a few extra yards.
Well, Josh Freeman is back at quarterback, and LeGarrette Blunt is the running back, and Blunt gets the call. And here is LeGarrette Blunt putting on the speed and ridden out of bounds by Charles Godfrey, but not before he gets solidly into Carolina territory. 24 yards on that run. And on the Carolina side, Donald Penn has to be separated from some of the Panthers there.
What happens, they finished up the block. Jim, you've seen it a number of times. They finished a block with a couple of guys burying one of the Carolina Panthers. He takes exception to it, and everything starts to go from there.
Hey, Charles,
nice job by Blunt getting into the hole and getting upfield for the additional yardage.
This guy's a load. Speaking of Penn, though, he's not even on the angry side of the line. Raheem calls the right side of his offensive line the angry side. The left side there looks a little angry as well.
Is that the technician side?
You know, when you start running the football, you know what happens? You get a little attitude. Everybody gets a little mean. Offensive linemen love to run the football.
How many teams have you had where you're running the football successfully and a pass comes in and they all look at the sideline like, what are you doing?
35 yards on 2 plays and a first down on the 37 of the Panthers. A lot of shifting going on. Here is Blunt again. And Blunt picks up 3 yards. John Beeson the tackle for a game break. Here's Kurt Menefee.
All right, so the Browns beat the Saints and Patriots in their last 2 games today. They're trying to do it to the Jets. Peyton Hiller's 12-yard score. He's been a man lately. 10-3, Cleveland on top of the Jets as they get ready to end the first quarter. Get Charles and Jim.
What's going on with the Browns?
Well,
go ahead, Tim.
Powerful running game and putting a young quarterback in positions where he can succeed by not asking him to do too much.
In a nutshell, makes sense. Second down and 7. Here is Blunt. And the rookie from Oregon, who is not on the 53-man roster when the season started, picks up 18 yards before Nick Harris brings him down and didn't even touch the ball till the 3rd game against Pittsburgh.
How many times do we hear about a running back who's a one-cut runner and downhill? Right there, cut, downhill, into the secondary. The tackler bounces off. Second tackler bounces off. And he's still spinning for additional yardage.
Big, huge chunks of yardage by the Bucs offense and a first down on the 17. Blunt with 57 yards on this drive alone. And they're going to go to the hot hand. LeGarrette Blunt goes over, touchdown. And he's acrobatic as well. 17-yard touchdown, giving the Panthers the 13-3 lead.
Jim, last night,
Or the Bucs.
Manny Pacquiao beat Antonio Margarito in the big boxing match. He won it by decision. If you have to hit LeGarrette Blunt all day long, he wins by attrition. Because by the 4th quarter, not many people are going to want to come up with enthusiasm to try and put a body on LeGarrette Blunt.
His 4th touchdown of the season. And it excites the crowd here on a beautiful day in Tampa. Connor Barth makes it 14-3 in favor of the Bucs. And here is the finish to this play. Style points. He gets the top there is.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by the Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. By Call of Duty Black Ops, available now, rated mature. And by the all-new Volkswagen Jetta. It's great for the price of good. That's Das Auto.
LeGarrette Blunt, who has been an impact player to say the least, gained 73 of the 87 yards on the drive and caps it with a 17-yard run. And consider that Josh Freeman wasn't even in the game. It was Josh Johnson when it all started with a Wildcat and a 14-3 Buccaneer lead. Jordan Pugh getting set to return the kick with 12:23 to go in the second. And they won't run it out, and the Panthers will take it out at the 20.
You know, at the beginning of the game, I called LeGarrette Blunt a hammer. And I said they'd use him to bludgeon him. How about the meat hook on him? Carrying this thing in, he goes over Charles Godfrey. One hand, ball never leaves his hand. He's able to hold on to this thing. So forget hammer, all right? He's already up to sledgehammer and well on his way to battering ram. This guy's unbelievable.
14-3 and a first down at the 20 for Carolina. Mike Goodson, and Goodson brings it out to the 29, 9-yard gain.
It's good to see Goodson hit it up in there. Charles, you talked earlier about him being a guy that wants to bounce to the edge. If they're going to have continued success running the football, they've got to be able to hit it up in there strong like that. And right there he did.
Yeah, Tampa brought pressure. It looked like they were trying to get into all the run gaps. They didn't get the backside gap, and Goodson found it.
2nd and 1. Clausen shovels the pass to Goodson, and a flag is down back at the 21-yard line. It will be a first down pending the call 13 yards.
Holding. Offense. Number 65. 10-yard penalty. Replay.
That was the right
Second down.
tackle, Gary Williams, for a game break. Kurt Menefee.
Still looking for his first win of the season. Buffalo hosting Detroit. Ryan Fitzpatrick has really played well, even though they've been losing, hooking up with Lee Evans for a 43-yard score. Set up a 1-yard Fred Jackson touchdown and puts the Bills on top, 7-0 early in the second quarter. Dick, Charles, and Jim.
All right, thank you, Kurt. It certainly doesn't get any easier when you're down 14-3 and hampered by penalties after first downs. And the pass caught by Jeff King and gets about 3.5 yards on the play. Third down coming up.
And how about how smart Rondé Barber is in the slot, Jim? I mean, you've coached defense most of your career. To have a guy like that, no matter where you put him, able to recognize, diagnose, come off of coverage, and make plays.
The two best I've ever seen, Rod Woodson and Rondé Barber. One is in the Hall of Fame, the other soon to be.
6 defensive backs in there now as Mack joins E.J. Biggers on 3rd down and 7. And 4 wideouts for the Panthers. Clausen, tip and off the hands of Rosario, and there it is, Rondé Barber again with a superb play downfield, bringing up 4th down.
Jim, you just talked about it. Watch Barber. He's going to show blitz, and then he goes off into coverage and runs underneath the route with Dante Rosario. Ran right into him, saw the turn of the body, and looked for the football and knocked it away.
Michael Spurlock back deep.
When you put Rondé Barber on a tight end, it doesn't matter who that tight end is. Rondé Barber typically is going to win that matchup.
Jason Baker with a short kick. Bounces at the 45, and it deflects off a player, and Rosario has it, but they're going to blow it dead at the 46 and indicate that it is Carolina ball, I believe. It was tipped by Elbert Mack.
And Jim, it looked to me like, watch the play here.
Is the ball was touched by the receiving team and recovered by the receiving team.
Did you see where Marcus Hudson?
The ball is touched by the receivers and recovered by the kickers for a first down.
So it turns into a muff, but the way the play was made is that Marcus Hudson for Carolina pulled I believe it was Biggers or Mack into the play. Watch. See, there's the pull.
So a break for the Panthers. They'll have the ball in Tampa Bay territory when we come back.
Smart play here by number 25 Marcus Hudson for Carolina, pulling Elbert Mack into the ball and creating what we call a muff. And on a muff, you can't advance it. It's different than a fumble because...
But no penalty for Hudson with the pull?
Get away with a hold every now and again.
Goodson, and here's Goodson inside the 30 of the Buccaneers. Cody Grimm drives him down, but not before Goodson picks up 18 yards.
Don't we have to give a little credit to this offensive line, the tight ends of the Carolina Panthers? They are creating space for Mike Goodson because that's what he needs. If he has any type of room and able to find that space and get up to the 3rd level and make it one-on-one tackles in the secondary, that's good for him and for Carolina.
Panthers with a first down on the 28. And the quick out to Smith. Gets away from the defender and picks up a couple of extra yards. Aqib Talib, whose job is to shadow Steve Smith all day. And when do we get to say that the Panthers need to score the touchdown and not settle for a field goal on this drive?
Right now. There's no getting around it. 3 points, to me, is a failure at this point for the Carolina Panthers. They've got to find the breakthrough and get the ball in the end zone.
That play there showed a sign of maturity for Jimmy Clausen. That's the 2nd time he's gotten out of a run that wasn't going to work into a quick throw. The first time was incomplete to Smith. That time he gets 7 yards.
2nd down and 4. Clausen has a tip incomplete. So the Bucs got a piece of it at the line of scrimmage, and it was Gerald McCoy who got a hand on it.
So much has been made of Gerald McCoy not having a sack. The high pick as a rookie, and Ndamukong Suh, who he'll be compared to all the time. Well, watch him here in the middle, number 93. Everyone's talking about Suh and the year he's having. McCoy doesn't have sacks, but he's starting to create plays for his defense.
All right, Jim, let's look ahead now. 3rd down and 4 for the Panthers. Josh Vaughn has replaced Goodson at tailback.
Well, Dick, you better get it out of his hand quick, and whether that's a draw, a screen, or a quick throw, timeout called.
And it's going to be timeout called by the Panthers, their second timeout of this first half.
Today's game is sponsored by the Ford F-150 and its 4 new engines. This is the future of truck.
Second timeout had been called by Carolina, bringing up 3rd down and 4 at the 22.
There's Smith right there.
Pressure on Clausen. Pass is caught by Geddes inside the 5, and a first down for Carolina. Elbert Mack on the coverage, and a 19-yard pickup. There's the other rookie, Brandon LaFell, getting help getting up.
I like the isolation. I like the look of Jimmy Clausen finding the dime back and isolating him with David Geddes, throwing really a back shoulder ball. Geddes able to adjust in the air. Elbert Mack had his back to the football, never saw it.
That right there is an almost impossible throw to defend. When you put it on the back shoulder and you're running with the guy.
Great job by the offensive line against severe pressure, so it'll be 1st and goal at the 4. And here is Goodson looking for running room and powers his way down to the 3. Talib coming up to make the play, and a 3-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Jim, you talked about how teammates can help out a rookie quarterback. Watch Steve Smith right here. Look at his head. Looking at the play clock. Looking at Jimmy Clausen, realizing they don't have time to get the play called because he knows the motions, the formations, the cadence. Called the timeout to save them the down and distance.
2nd and goal at the 2. 73, Mackenzie Bernardo lines up eligible. Here's Josh Vaughn and scores. Josh Vaughn gives Carolina its first touchdown of the game.
How about this kid? Goes from the practice squad to the end zone in 1 week. Needs to keep that football.
First NFL touchdown, and his first game played at the University of Richmond. Goes over from 2, and the way touchdowns have been hard to come by. An elated sideline for the Panthers. John Casey for the point after. And with under 8 minutes to go here in the second half, second quarter, 14-10 the Buccaneers. And the turnover worked for Carolina on this drive. Next Saturday on FSN, a college football Big 12 tripleheader. First, Oklahoma State looks to stay on top of the Big 12 South against Kansas. Then it's the big game. Andrew Luck and surging Stanford set their sights on a BCS berth, take on the bitter rival Cal. And under the lights, Blaine Gabbert and Missouri battle Iowa State. College football next Saturday on FSN. Check your local listings for the start time in your area. There is a scoring drive, and it started in Tampa Bay territory after the muff. And the kick, Spurlock is going to run it out from 6 yards in the end zone. And Godfrey won't let him get away. And he stopped at the 15.
Yeah, if you're trying to make an impact in this league, you got to be willing to do it all. You go from the practice squad, then you go into the end zone, then you go line up on a kick, and then you make the tackle or get in on the tackle. Josh Vaughn, young man, that's how you catch a coach's eye right there.
By the way, the last Panthers rushing touchdown, have to go back to week 4 against New Orleans when DeAngelo Williams went over for a score. And of course, this team has not been able to score many touchdowns as it is. They've scored under 10 points 4 times this year. It'll be a 1st and 10 for the Bucs on the 15. LeGarrette Blount. And is nothing right there, no gain.
A rare sight. Talk about no gain, nothing there for LeGarrette Blount, because this was the last drive, and there was plenty of gains for LeGarrette Blount. There's a big run. Now look at the one cut. Good blocking by Davin Joseph in front of him, and he bounces through 3 tacklers before he's finally brought down, before finally not just showing his power, but his athleticism getting into the end zone.
Blount has gained 78 yards on 7 carries, 2nd down and 10. Josh Freeman up the middle behind and almost intercepted. Blount was the intended receiver, and John Beeson nearly had a pick.
Blount is a runner. The guy can run the football. We've seen that. The areas of his game that he needs to work on is protection, protecting his quarterback, and then the little things, the details like we just saw there. Not as exacting in his route as he needs to be. Those things will develop as he gets more time in a game.
3rd down and 10, and Cadillac Williams, who is outstanding in protection, is the tailback. 2-to-1 rushing to passing for Tampa Bay. And on 3rd and 10, they loft it to Cadillac Williams, and he'll be tackled from behind about 4 yards shy of the 1st down by Charles Johnson. So a good defensive stop there by the Panthers.
And that play was about a half a beat off in terms of timing, and Charles Johnson did a nice job hustling from his defensive line position, reading the screen and getting out to run it down.
We call that coming out of the stack. Defensive lineman on the screen, you got to retrace your foot, you got to come out of the stack, you got to run him down from behind, and that's what he did right there, Charles.
Captain Munnerlyn back to return the kick. Robert Malone, who was signed in week 5, will be punting. Munnerlyn is already around midfield. This is a good kick by Malone. Munnerlyn back to the 31. And good coverage by Tampa Bay, and it was Nico Kukovides who had played for Jim Mora in Seattle with the special teams play. Well, America's game of the week coming up next, the Cowboys at the Giants, and a great interview, Jerry Jones by Pam Oliver before the game, and it'll be Jason Garrett, who was named the interim head coach this week, played for the Giants briefly, coached for them. And there's the story. The Giants first in the NFC against Dallas, 1-7. Want to get the thoughts of America's game of the week coming up from you guys. 1st and 10 at the 36. Flag down. Goodson off the right side. Rondy Barber was with him all the way, but there's the penalty, and it'll be called against Carolina. It'll be a false start.
Illegal formation. Offense, number 65, was not lined up on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty.
What's it going to be like, Jim,
First
for
down.
Jason Garrett to make his debut against the tough Giants on the road today?
Well, he's nervous. He's anxious. I'm sure he can't wait to get it going. From what I've understood, they had a great week of practice. He came in and really tried to put his stamp on this team. But, you know, it's a lot like the Carolina Panthers today. They need some early success. Yeah, they got to get some early success to verify that he's capable of being their head coach.
1st and 15. Clausen off the hands of Rosario, incomplete. Well, the Panthers didn't get much early success today, but they've come back to make it a 14-10 game.
And one thing to keep in mind, Jason Garrett, you heard the report from Jay Glazer in our pregame show about Jason Garrett showed his locker room maybe something they didn't know that he had about being detailed and what you're going to be accountable for. What everyone else has to understand is all this doesn't just absolutely take in a week.
But with a young quarterback like Clausen, you're better off calling the timeout and getting yourself out of a bad play into a good play, getting your mind organized and giving yourself a chance for success, especially when you're climbing back in the game and it's a big 3rd and 12.
I agree totally with that, because, you know, everybody's talking about how precious they are. But when you have a rookie quarterback, it's even more precious that you don't make a mistake in trying to keep a timeout and turn it into an error for your team, and now the other team capitalizes.
How's Jimmy Clausen doing?
I'm very impressed with him so far. I think he's got good command of the game. He's making good decisions. He's operating at a good pace. The game looks like it's slowed down a little bit for him compared to what we've seen in the past.
3rd down and 12, and he zings it to Brandon LaFell. LaFell will be stopped shy of the first down by about 4 yards after getting 8 on the play. So it'll be a punting situation. Jason Baker will come on for Carolina. Michael Spurlock, one of 2 players in team history with both a kickoff and punt return for a touchdown, and it seemed a million years before the Buccaneers ever had a kick return for a score. Now they're getting them all the time. And let's see, it was tipped. I think someone got a piece of that punt from Baker on a good rush by the Buccaneers. And Maurice Stovall, who was activated as a wide receiver but primarily for special teams, does his job, gets a piece of it, and good field position coming up.
And this is what Maurice Stovall does. This is his value to a football team. It's as a core special teams player. Yes, he plays wide receiver, but anytime he's dressed, it's to try and get them plays in the kick game, and he does on that one.
Rich Biasaccia, their special teams coach in Tampa, is like the Greg Williams of the special teams coaches, always attacking.
1st down at the 35 of Tampa Bay, leading by 4. Play action. Freeman. Good catch by Kellen Winslow in his first reception of the game. And gets to within 2.5 yards of a 1st down.
Nice mix by Greg Olson, the offensive coordinator here in Tampa. Run, pass, play action, working everybody into the game plan, spreading the field. Offensively, what you want to do is you want to make that field feel like it's about 200 yards long and 100 yards wide, and he's doing that today with his play calling.
Bucs have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. 2nd and 2, and there's Blunt. And Blunt can't get away from Charles Johnson. It's like a rodeo out here in Tampa in this first half with LeGarrette Blunt, and a loss of 3 on the play, bringing up 3rd down.
And the Buccaneers are going to question at the end of this play, was there a horse collar tackle involved with Blunt? Watch as he's tackled Charles Johnson right there. See the back of the jersey? Got his hand there. No flag on the play. But I think they had a case for the horse collar.
No. It's only a horse collar if in the box at the line of scrimmage. There is no such thing as a horse collar. It's got to be in the open field, and that wasn't in the open field.
3rd down and 5 with under 3 minutes to go in the first half. Pressure on Freeman. Pass is caught by Spurlock, and Michael Spurlock's still on his feet, goes down, and a flag down back at the 40-yard line. 19 yards if it sticks.
And the Panthers seem to think it's going against Tampa Bay.
Illegal shift. Offense.
They're right.
Number 24 and 81 did not get set prior to the snap.
So it was Spurlock and Cadillac Williams.
3rd down.
And that nullifies a 19-yard play that would have given Tampa Bay a 1st down at the 41.
And you notice Josh Freeman is upset about it because as the quarterback, he takes responsibility for making sure everyone's set before he puts the ball in motion. So he's taking that on for himself, checking with the officials, what's the call? To him, he's saying, that's on me because I'm supposed to know you guys have to be set before I activate the football.
3rd down and 10. Back to the 35.
There's your ninja defense, Coach Moore. Finally, a guy gets his hand on the ground in the defensive line.
Everybody was standing up there for a minute.
Freeman gets rid of it, and it is caught by Winslow. Panthers saying he did not make the catch. It would be a 1st down at the 48, gain of 12 yards. Panthers don't think he got it.
Look at the strength of Josh Freeman in the pocket, though. Never really gets his feet set and just guns it down with total arm. And Winslow going down to make the catch. I see John Beeson wanted no catch, but it stayed between his legs, and they were able to maintain possession.
And the 2-minute warning here in Tampa with the Buccaneers leading the Panthers 14-10. Coming up, the Visa halftime report with Kurt Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. Is the nail in the Vikings' coffin? Not sure. They're leading right now by 3. And is Buffalo on track for win number 1? They're leading 7-0 in their game. Right here, it's 1st and 10 at the 48 of the Bucs.
Haven't taken too many shots downfield in the first half of this game.
Low snap and the whistle. Flag is down, false start.
Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Ted Larson starting at left guard today.
Jim, we've seen this from both sides today. False starts, illegal procedure. Is it the movement of these defenses that's causing that you think today?
I think it's young football players. These are the 2 youngest teams in the National Football League. And I think, you know, you've got some inexperienced guys out there. You've got 2 young quarterbacks. Maybe their cadence isn't consistent.
First down and 15 from the 43 after the penalty, and the pass drilled incomplete, intended for Mike Williams. Chris Gamble on the coverage. Crowd looking for a penalty, none coming.
Earlier in this game, we showed you Rondé Barber working at the hip of a receiver and coming underneath the route. Watch Chris Gamble. Gets the jam. Now he's running at the hip. Now he's going to run underneath. And Mike Williams is talking about Chris Gamble with his arms tangled with his. I don't believe this is ever going to draw a flag as they're running downfield. Mike
Williams, who leads all rookies in touchdown catches and receptions, does not have a catch so far today. 2nd and 15. Freeman up the middle, knocked away. And Beeson downfield, a late flag goes down. Winslow was the target downfield, and Beeson is claiming he was pushed off by Winslow.
Well, we need to take a look at the replay, but off the first look, I don't like that call.
Pass interference. Defense, number 52. Spot the foul, automatic.
Boy, Beeson got up in a hurry long before that flag came out, Charles.
This is 2 guys, look, this is 2 guys just chicken fighting for the football, and I don't know how you call that on either player right there. That's just 2 athletic, aggressive, competitive football players trying to find the ball. They're both looking back for the ball. I don't see anybody doing anything that warrants a flag being thrown.
No advantage, disadvantage to either side on that play.
No.
21-yard penalty, first down, as the Buccaneers threaten, and taking a shot right here, and the pass knocked away by Gamble. Michael Spurlock was the target, and Chris Gamble with textbook coverage.
They had him early, and because it was a long throw and had to be arched, that allowed Gamble to make up time and get back to the play and knock it away from Spurlock. It was that close. It's good recovery by Chris Gamble because that play was there for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
2nd and 10 at the 36. Again, the Buccaneers have all 3 of their timeouts left. 1:41 on the clock. Williams. Cadillac Williams with a first down inside the 25. Godfrey on the play, and a gain of 12 yards. So right now, Tampa Bay is at least in field goal range.
And you notice who stays on the field, guys, because they're trying to throw the football predominantly is Cadillac Williams. He can still run it well enough if you hand it to him and you give him a crease, but he's out there for pass protection and as a pass receiver in this 2-minute offense.
If you're Carolina, you've got to hold Tampa Bay to a field goal and not a touchdown at best. It would make a big difference. Pass thrown underneath to Preston Parker, and the rookie receiver gets it just inside the 20, picking up about 5. And right now, the Buccaneers will call their first timeout with 57 seconds on the clock. Well, it's been a young Buccaneer team, and it all starts with their quarterback, Josh Freeman, who has engineered 4 comebacks in the 4th quarter, leading the league.
I mean, his record as a starter is 8-9. How about 4 of those this year coming? And then you take a look at Mike Williams, the rookie receiver who might be the steal of the draft. If you revoted now, if you went back and drafted, he'd be a first rounder. And LeGarrette Blount, Jim, he's going to hammer.
How many GMs in the league are saying, my goodness, why'd we pass up that guy?
Williams hasn't caught a ball. Blount with a fantastic first half, and Freeman 6 for 10 for 70 yards. Has not really gotten it unleashed as a passer yet.
And just remember this about Josh Freeman. He came out of school as a junior. This would be his rookie year if he had come out on schedule. What a mature young man, and now 6 of 10, and we're saying he's not really unleashed. He set the bar so high for us, Dick. We think his excellence is really out there.
Travell Wharton, the left guard, you saw him going into the locker room. 2nd down and 6, 2 timeouts left for Tampa Bay. Freeman to the end zone, flag down, touchdown, Kellen Winslow. And the Panthers had good coverage on him, 2 defenders.
Pass interference, defense, number 30.
Charles Godfrey called for pass interference. John Beeson was there with him. Penalty is declined, and the Bucs get their touchdown.
What a great throw and catch. When you throw the ball into that coverage the way Josh Freeman does, you're saying, hey, I've got confidence in the guy I'm throwing it to. Either he's going to come down with it or nobody else is.
That is the first touchdown catch of the year, surprisingly, for Kellen Winslow, who was their leading receiver last year. Connor Barth with the point after touchdown. And the Buccaneers take a 21-10 lead. And Josh Freeman with his 2nd touchdown pass of the game.
Josh Freeman has really matured. This guy doesn't portray himself as a second-year player. He reminds me of a guy who's been in the league 5 or 6 years. He likes to use the double cadence, which he did on that play. He comes up, he gets under center, he starts into his cadence, he has the defense show what they're going to do, and then he picks out the receiver he wants to throw to off of the pre-snap look he's getting. In that case, it was Winslow down the middle, working on a route we saw them running in pregame. Great throw, great catch, great confidence to put it right in there.
And what we saw in pregame, Jim, as you noted, was Kellen Winslow staying after everyone else had gone in and running that route about 3 or 4 times, that same exact route, that little stick nod, and getting inside and then making the catch. And one last thing, guys, when we met with Josh Freeman, remember what he told us when I asked him about when did you know you had it as a player? When did you know that this was a dream of yours? And he said, there was never a time in my life that I ever thought, I never thought that I wouldn't be in the NFL. It was always the plan.
You know, he wasn't bragging either. As a matter of fact, the more you praise him, the more he doesn't like to hear it. And one of the most humble young players that we've seen in a while. Jordan Pugh on the return for Carolina brings it out past the 25. So Kellen Winslow, and they've gone a little bit away from him as of late with the young wide receivers. Well, there's a new way to play fantasy football. Make real-time substitutions in a 20-minute fast-paced game. New games start every 15 minutes. Play now at foxsports.com/live.
It'll be interesting to see how Carolina plays this with no timeouts, down 11, 44 seconds, rookie quarterback. It appears just by this formation that they're going to run the football.
Mackenzie Bernardo replacing Travell Wharton, who went to the locker room at left guard. First down, Goodson. First down and out of bounds, stopping the clock with 37 seconds left as he gets to the 40, picking up 15.
And now they'll go into their 2-minute. Now they'll start throwing the football. They bring an extra receiver in. They take Jeff King out. They bring Geddes in. And let's see if they now go to the shotgun because they've got some field position and try to get some points on the board.
It's all about the first down play and the yardage gain to allow them this opportunity.
Panthers out of timeouts. Underneath to Goodson, and Goodson is smacked hard by Elbert Mack and limits Goodson to a gain of 2 after the completion.
Look at him cluing inside, Jim. What I mean by cluing, head was all the way inside. He had the receiver in one eye to the outside shoulder, eye on the other side, on the inside, back to the quarterback, saw the break, saw the drop, and broke on the football and came inside for the big hit.
Josh Vaughn, who scored the Carolina touchdown, is in the backfield now, and here's Clausen. The pass is tipped at the line. Trying to get it to Steve Smith. And that'll do it. That is the end of the first half. As the Carolina Panthers, looking to get off to a good start, turned the ball over on their first possession. And the Bucs took advantage of it. Josh Freeman with 2 touchdown passes. And LeGarrette Blount with a huge game on the ground as these Buccaneers looking to go 6-3. And one of the big surprises have the lead. 21-10, the Bucs lead the Panthers at the half. Fox NFL Sunday will continue with the Visa halftime report. Panthers were looking to get off to a good start, but 5 penalties, 3 drops, and a fumble hampered their start. And what about LeGarrette Blount? 75 rushing yards, including a spectacular touchdown. And second-year Josh Freeman growing into one of the best young quarterbacks in the league with 2 touchdown passes. He threw 2 the first time these teams played in Carolina. And so the score, 21-10, the Buccaneers lead the Panthers. And we want to remind you to follow your favorite team all season long. It's an iTunes spot, which we're going to get to in a moment. But first, let's talk about the second half. First, what the Bucs did right, Charles.
Well, I'm not going to say darn near everything, but it felt like it, right? I thought Greg Olsen on offense, the play calling was terrific. Getting Freeman out, some easy throws early, opening things up for Blount to run the football. And defensively, they made plays early. Gerald McCoy knocking the ball free. So I thought that the Bucs, for them, don't change a whole lot, except I would have LeGarrette Blount touch it a few more times in the second half.
Jim Moore, we started the game and said, what does a coach tell a team that had all these things going against them? And you said, you got to have hope. What is your view of this team right now?
Well, I think they have hope. You know, I see good things with Jimmy Clausen. I see him making good decisions. I see him being protective of the football. I think they're running the ball well. Goodson's averaging 5.4 a carry already. Their defense needs to play a little bit better. They need to stop the run, but they've got hope right now. They've got a chance to get right back in this game, stay in it, and win it at the end.
And their long-awaited iTunes promo. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Buccaneers will get the ball first, and Michael Spurlock back deep. Kicking off will be Reese Lloyd. This kick will go about a yard shy of the goal line, returned by Spurlock. And you can see the Panthers trying to drag the ball away. Jordan Sen making the tackle. So Josh Freeman, who has completed 7 of 11, has been judicious with the number of passes he's thrown for 89 yards, 2 touchdowns, and has not made a mistake in the passing game. Blount with 75 yards, averaging nearly 9.5, and Winslow with 3 catches, including a touchdown and a flag down before they run the first play.
Offense, number 44. 5-yard penalty.
5-yard penalty against Tampa Bay. And right now, let's go down to the field to the 4th member of our team, Laura Open.
Thanks, Dick. Raheem Moore is preaching consistency at halftime to his players. He likes the way they're looking, he said, but we got to get the run game going. We have to establish that consistently and make sure that if we can do that, it's going to be a pretty good team. If we can also mix in a little bit with Josh Freeman, but he wants to get the run game going. Defensively, he feels good about that, but said we got to do a better job getting them off the field 3rd down. As for John Fox, he likes the way Jimmy Clausen is looking. He said he's doing well enough for us to win. We just have to help him out and do that as a team.
Pass is caught by John Gilmore. They went to him early in the game, and Gilmore will have a first down as he crosses the 30-yard line, picking up 16. Godfrey on the tackle.
Same exact play they ran to start the game. They just flipped the formation. Once again, Freeman finding Gilmore off the play action on the crossing route.
Jim, Laura just talked about Raheem Morris wanting to get the run game going. That pass play right there will only help the run game, won't it?
Yes, it will. It'll loosen things up a little bit.
Buccaneers have outrushed the Panthers 106-85. And we'll have a whistle and a penalty.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. still first down.
That's James Lee, the right tackle. They would hope that Jeremy Trueblood would be back to start. He is active for the game, but Lee gets the starting call, and he's the victim of the 5-yard penalty.
And this is an offensive line that in recent weeks has been shuffled and reshuffled. All right, Jeff Fain comes back into the lineup starting at center. Ted Larson, who was in the lineup, then they thought would be out of the lineup, started at guard. Jeremy Zutai, who played for Fain, is out of the lineup. So it keeps moving, and Lee, as Dick noted, in for Trueblood today.
1st and 15. And the quick pass is caught by Mike Williams. Williams gets away from the defender and finds his way into Carolina territory, and a first down to the 46. 28-yard gain for Mike Williams, and that's more like Mike Williams, the outstanding rookie receiver.
Really nice job here with the blitz pickup, giving Josh Freeman time to look outside and find Mike Williams, and then really good run after the catch by Williams. And on that note, excellent effort down the field by Charles Johnson to make the tackle.
First catch of the game by Mike Williams. First down at the 46 of Carolina. LeGarrette Blount, and loses the ball. No signal yet. And the Panthers get it. LeGarrette Blount fumbles. And the Panthers recover right at midfield, and a break for them here.
Never had it from the beginning. I want to see the pocket. It's there, and Blount never really gets clamped down over the football as it gets stuck in there by Josh Freeman. So that thing just came squirting right out the front end. See, never really has it. And that ball's dancing around, and the Panthers end up coming up with it.
James Anderson at the bottom of that pile grabbed the ball away from Blount. So that is the second turnover by the Buccaneers. The first one resulted in a touchdown for the Panthers. Handoff to Mike Goodson. And Goodson getting to midfield. Goodson with 76 yards, averaging nearly 5.5 per carry in the first half, picking up 2.
Blount had a fumble a couple of games ago against Arizona, and then came back and put up big yardage after that. So we'll see if he can recover from this one and do the same thing today.
Second down and 8 at midfield for the Panthers. Jimmy Clausen gets rid of it, but the loose ball, and it was Styles White who put the pressure on. And preliminary-wise, they rule it an incomplete pass. Let's see what they say. It is an incomplete pass.
Look at the pressure here. Backside of Jimmy Clausen will be Styles White. That's Crowder 96 front side, but White there. Clausen with the arm moving forward, trying to throw a pass. And let's see who's in the vicinity. Don't see anyone there, but I think Mike Goodson might have been close enough.
He's in the universe, if not the vicinity. Third down and 8 for Clausen, getting rushed again and throws it away. So Barrett Ruud coming up the middle. And so for a moment, the Panthers getting the turnover, and quickly they are 3 and out, and Jason Baker will come on to kick.
Jim, Barrett Ruud has always been a productive linebacker in terms of tackles, but now I'm watching him starting to make plays, to force plays for this defense.
Yeah, well, I don't know how you let a middle linebacker free right through the A-gap, the gap between the center and the guard, but it happened there.
Spurlock back deep. Spurlock at the 15 and brought down in a hurry. Fine play by Jordan Sen on special teams. So the Carolina Panthers failed to capitalize on the turnover. They got it near midfield. They trailed by.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By GMC, the official vehicle of the NFL. By FedEx, we understand you need a winning game plan. FedEx. And by Bud Light, it's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Early here in the third quarter, Dick Stockton along with Charles Davis, Jim Mora, and Laura Oakman. LeGarrette Blount is the tailback. starting from the 14, play action, and Freeman running out of trouble and sliding smartly before he gets hit just shy of the 20, but picks up 5 yards.
Not the prettiest slide I've ever seen.
That would not break up the double play. I can tell you that. There's no chance. All right, they're complete now. When 6-4-3, no problem.
He didn't even get to the bag.
No. He needs to get his back on the ground, or someone's going to come in and clean him up here. Look at him smiling, laughing about it. He knows it was ugly.
2nd down and 5. Ball at the 19.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
And this underscores what Charles said about the offensive line problem. 2nd on Ted Larson.
And the last time we were here for a game, Ted Larson's first start, he ended up with a couple of penalties in that game, which you kind of understood with his first start. But they're hoping he's starting to settle in a little bit and start to eliminate the false starts.
And the guy's lined up right next to the center. He can hear the quarterback better than anybody on the field.
Jeremy Trueblood on the sidelines right now. Of course, the fans in Carolina remember Ted Larson from his days at North Carolina State. 2nd down and 10. Blunt. And Blunt's not going anywhere. Like Tyler Brayton got a hand on him, and maybe a yard. 21-10 the score. The Carolina Panthers trying to avoid being swept by the Buccaneers for the first time in 8 years, and Hayden comes off the field hurt. Nick Hayden injured, and he's replaced by Eric Norwood, a rookie. 3rd down and 9. Josh Freeman fakes the pass, going to run and get the first down. Forward progress will be the 25. That'll be enough for the first down. Picking up 10 yards with his legs.
Nice combination, man coverage, taking Richard Marshall and cutting. But when you turn your back to Josh Freeman and he catches you in man coverage and he sees your back to him, that's an opportunity to take off and run, and he did it there for a first down.
Give it to LeGarrette Blount again. And it was John Beeson who wouldn't let go, limiting Blount to a gain of 2. And by the way, Tyler Brayton, who went off a moment ago, back in it, defensive end for the Panthers.
Look at the offensive line moving, little zone blocking scheme there. It was Lee and Joseph, 77 and 75, and then of course Blount making it hard to put him on the ground, even on the short runs. He gets more than you think is there.
2nd down and 8. Freeman, good catch by Kellen Winslow. Another first down for the Bucs at the 38. They get 11 more yards. Winslow, who caught a spectacular touchdown catch in the latter stages of the first half.
When I watch this, Jim, all I think is he's making 100% man catches.
Well, he's a guy that's really tough to match up against, because if you put a defensive back on him, he's bigger and more physical than most of them. If you put a linebacker on him, he's more athletic and faster.
First down at the 38. And here is Blount, and he'll be knocked back for a loss. John Beeson forcing the play. Beeson, by the way, has had an outstanding year. Started the season as an outside backer. Dan Connor injured and went on IR with a hip problem, so Beeson went back to the middle.
You were talking, Charles, about LeGarrette Blount's running style. He's not a fast starter. He doesn't get into the hole quick. Now, once he's in it and he gets to the second level, he's hard to bring down. But if defensive linemen can get to him early, then he's easy to bring down because he runs upright, he runs high. But if he can get into that secondary, then he's a real load.
So he'll have to learn to get behind his pads, as you coaches like to say.
He's got to get lower and he's got to hit it quicker.
2nd and 13. Here is Freeman's pass, and Williams almost had it if he had stayed in bounds, but it's off of his hands. Sherrod Martin, the free safety, downfield covering on the play.
Yeah, the short coverage with Richard Marshall, passing him off in a two-deep zone scheme. And right across the front, Sherrod Martin gets a hand in there. Maybe it breaks the concentration a little. Plus, Mike Williams thinking about trying to get both feet down in bounds close to the sideline. There's a lot to handle there. Unfortunately, incomplete for Tampa Bay.
Now it's 3rd down and 13.
Remember, Sammy Straughter, their normal slot guy, 3rd down receiver, not playing today with an injured foot.
Preston Parker, the rookie, is in there, however. And here is Freeman's pass, and it's caught by Kellen Winslow, shy of the 1st down, bringing up 4th down. A gain of 9 yards, and they were short by about 5. Covering on the play was James Anderson, who recovered the fumble for the Panthers on that last turnover. So Captain Munnerlyn goes back deep, and the last punt return for a touchdown was by Steve Smith 7 years ago against the Giants. Malone will kick. Smith came back as a punt returner briefly a few weeks ago.
1 game's worth against San Francisco. Haven't used him back there since.
That was a good drive for Tampa. Not every drive is going to end up in points, but they started that drive on the 14-yard line. They get it out to the 44.
Set the game to 7 minutes, 13 seconds.
They're going to set the
7:13.
play clock, the game clock actually, to 7:13.
Back to my point, essentially now they've changed field position. They've got a chance to flip the field here. And with a Carolina offense that's struggling, sometimes a successful drive is 2 first downs.
Yeah, sometimes what do you coach like to say? You just want to end every drive in a kick, whether you're kicking an extra point, a field goal, or punting it.
Robert Malone punting it. And Munnerlyn from the 16, looking for running room. And down he goes at the 20. We'll take a break. 6:47 to go in the 3rd. 21-10 the score. Go to NFL.com's Game Center for Week 10 live game stats, fan discussions, in-game video highlights, and more only at NFL.com/scores. Raheem Morris, 34 years old, and has the Buccaneers at 5-3. Jimmy Clausen going on top to Steve Smith and making the catch. Steve Smith, who had caught only 2 passes and a gain of 34 yards, finally getting Smith in action big time.
What a beautiful throw. Found a man-to-man matchup with Talib. Smith gets a step on Talib, and Clausen just drops it in there beautifully over the outside shoulder.
Yeah, Talib was hurt on the play.
Yes, he was. E.J. Biggers has replaced him, Charles. Good observation there. 1st down at the 45. Talib had been defending Smith all day. 1st down for the Panthers. Here is Mike Goodson. What a juke he put on in a 1st down. What a play he made against E.J. Biggers. And a gain of 13 yards. And a flag is down right near the end of that play.
And Goodson was giving quite a stiff arm at the end of the play.
Personal foul. Tackling by the face mask. Defense, number 26. 15-yard penalty after the end of the run. 1st down.
So additional yards because of Sean Jones' penalty here.
Look at Goodson trying to get Jones off of him. And Jones has the helmet and the early face mask. But look, at the same time, Goodson has the face mask of Sean Jones.
And that bothers me. That call right there bothers me. Not the face mask being called on the defense, but the fact that the rules allow an offensive player to take his hand and push it in a defensive player's face. That's not right. You got to do something about that rule if we're going to be consistent in protecting players.
From the 17, Goodson works his way close to the 10-yard line. Tim Crowder on the tackle. Game break. Kurt Menefee. What do you got, Kurt?
Well, right now, Brett Favre could use a break. Starting the 2nd half, ball tipped into the hands of DJ Moore, led to a Bears field goal. Well, that's Favre's league-leading 14th pick of the year. It's 17-10, Chicago on top. Dick, Charles, and Jim.
Digging the monsters of the Midway, going back to the old Hallis to Hallis outfits for today, a little throwback.
Orange numbers, 2nd and 4 on the 11. Give it to Goodson, and Goodson getting a yard on the play as we wind down to 5 minutes remaining in this third quarter. And you saw Travell Wharton go off at the earlier. He has a toe injury, questionable as to his return, and Mackenzie Bernardo had replaced him. And Aqib Talib, who was shaken up and left the field, is back in at cornerback. 3rd and 3.
And he's matched up with Steve Smith in the slot,
which means man-to-man.
Looks like Rude checked him out of it.
Clausen's pass, incomplete. Dante Rosario was the intended receiver. So 4th down coming up, and John Casey comes on.
Jim,
tried to narrow the lead.
Jim, you made the call. It was man-to-man here with Talib on Steve Smith, but Barrett Rude, who's their defensive play caller, checked the defense. He checked them out of what they had called in man-to-man, and they went to a zone. And watch Rude come underneath, and he and Talib almost combined for a big play.
So Casey is on to try a 28-yard field goal. Had a 46-yarder in the first quarter. That was successful. And John Casey, and the kick is good. And shaken up at the line of scrimmage following that kick. We'll check that out. Slow getting up is Jason Baker, the holder.
Look at Steve Smith talking to the officials about Talib's punt or field goal rush there. He gave him a little lesson.
Yeah, they were looking for a penalty, trying to have their protected holder.
And the kick muffed by Spurlock. Now Spurlock is going to be trapped inside the 10-yard line. Not pretty for the Buccaneers. They have a long way to go, leading 21-13. Buccaneers leading by 8 with 4:21 remaining in this third quarter. John Casey's field goal, the only points so far in this quarter. LeGarrette Blount is the tailback. He has gained 75 yards today. 1st and 10 at the 9. Here's Blount tripped up, and Sherrod Martin came in.
Remember Steve Smith gesturing with the officials about the extra point? Jeff King right there with a little shove on Aqib Talib. Now remember, the kicker and the holder are protected in this situation from being run into. No penalty flag on that one.
And then look at Maurice Stovall here on the kickoff, trying to keep the returner in the end zone. The only problem, Charles, is he's on the 5-yard line. You don't see that very often. Matter of fact, I've never seen that.
Rich Bisaccia, the special teams coach,
not happy.
2nd down and 10. Freeman getting a rush. Completes to John Gilmore. 3rd catch of the game for Gilmore. He'll be about 2.5 yards shy of the 1st down. Nick Harris defending.
How about John Gilmore's role expanding? With the release of Jeremy Stevens a few weeks ago, Gilmore now getting more opportunities to catch the football and not be known simply as a run blocker. He always told everybody, hey, I can catch the ball, but you're not giving me opportunities.
3rd down and 2. Getting close to 3 minutes remaining in the third. Cadillac Williams in for Blount.
Look how they're communicating, he and Josh Freeman on blitz pickup and protections.
Gets the good protection here. The pass batted down by Derek Landry, the defensive tackle. So that was a big stop on 3rd and short for Carolina. They'll get good field position with under 3 to go in the third. Here is Landry getting his paw in the play and a chance to narrow it even more.
And Donald Penn had him totally suffocated in terms of getting back to the quarterback, but as good defensive linemen are taught, when your forward progress is stop getting back there, get your hands up in the passing lane. You may still affect the play, and Derek Landry did.
Good day for Robert Malone, the rookie from Fresno State, as he kicks to Captain Munnerlyn. And a great kick, sending Munnerlyn back to his 30. Captain Munnerlyn turning the corner, gets into Tampa Bay territory, and a big return, and it was Robert Malone, the punter, who finally makes a tackle, and all of a sudden tempers flare at about midfield. A 37-yard return after the booming 53-yard kick. Munnerlyn giving the Panthers a big opportunity here in the waning stages of this third quarter.
Really nice return here by Captain Munnerlyn, set up with some good block. The Carolina special teams has done an excellent job of creating field position today for their offense.
First down on the 33 of Tampa Bay. Here is Mike Goodson changing direction. And Goodson upended, and Aqib Talib with a tremendous tackle as he upended Goodson, and it ends up to be a 2-yard loss for the Panthers.
So it started with vertical penetration by the D-line that forced Goodson to reverse field. Now look at Talib seeing the play. Steve Smith can't block him there, because if he blocks him at that point, it's a clip in the back, and he knows that. And Talib gets up in front of him and is able to upend Goodson with a nice tackle.
They started at the 33, which was their best starting field position of the game, losing 2. Here's Goodson. And Goodson working his way to the 31-yard line. Gain of 5.
That bounce and that cut back and that reverse field, that stuff only works so often in this league. The players are too fast. And he's, he's a good player, but he's not Gale Sayers yet, okay? And I'm not ready to anoint him yet. And he's got to take the ball and hit it downhill, and that's when he's had success.
Or ever.
Well, probably never. Probably never.
We know there's only one Gale Sayers.
Third down and 8.
Gale Sayers was in the Tampa Bay building this week.
Jimmy Clausen's pass broken up by Aqib Talib. They wanted to go to Steve Smith, and Talib makes 2 superb plays defensively, bringing up 4th down, and John Casey is out for the field goal try.
What a series for Aqib Talib, coming back on the first down and knocking Goodson down in the open field for a 2-yard loss. And then on the key 3rd down, Raheem Morris talked about getting off the field. That's how you try and do it, breaking up the pass on 3rd down.
This will be a 48-yarder. Casey's longest this year was 55. And John Casey, good with his second field goal here in this third quarter, and the Carolina Panthers inch closer to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It is now 21-16 with 1:02 remaining in the third quarter. And for a game break, let's send it out to Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
The Texans were down 17-3 to start the second half at Jacksonville, but they've come all the way back. Andre Johnson's 9-yard reception from Matt Shaw ties the score at 17 apiece early in the fourth quarter. Dick, Charles, and Jim.
Thank you very much, Kurt. Well, Fox Wednesday, it's the season premiere of Human Target. The man who will guard your life with his own is getting a little backup. When your life is on the line, they are the team to call. Human Target, season premiere Wednesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox. So Talib with 2 brilliant plays defensively on that series, but now it's a 5-point lead for the Buccaneers. Spurlock and Stovall will let him out of the end zone.
He got it right that time, didn't he? That's better field awareness there for Maurice Stovall.
Yeah. You know, interesting that Carolina 3 times taking over in Tampa Bay territory have 2 field goals and a touchdown. And looking at the offensive leaders for the Bucs going on offense now, Josh Freeman, good percentage game with 2 touchdowns. Blunt with 75 still, and Winslow has come alive.
In the last 2 ball games, Kellen Winslow had 4 catches combined. They've made it a point to try and find him more today, to good effect.
First down on the 20. LeGarrette Blunt, the running back, play action. Freeman fires downfield, caught by Aurelius Ben. Up to the 40-yard line, a 20-yard pickup. And Ben, who caught a touchdown pass early in the game, Grabs one for 21 here, out to the 41.
8-man protection. That means they're keeping 8 guys in the block, 2-man route and a quarterback. That equals 11 if my math is right. Gives Josh Freeman time for this route to develop and hits a really spin on the crossing route. Really well devised and called play by Greg Olsen.
From the 41, the quick out to Williams. And the tackle made by Richard Marshall, but a 5-yard pickup nonetheless, and that should be the last play of the third quarter. Josh Freeman. His team is up by 5, although he has been the master of fourth quarter rallies this year for Tampa Bay. That's the end of the third quarter with the score: the Bucs 21, the Panthers 16. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a break from your local Fox station. Nick Stockton, Charles Davis, and Jim Mora. 16 points for Carolina. They've only exceeded that total twice this season. LeGarrette Blount breaks out again, and LeGarrette Blount flag is down back at the line of scrimmage. Blount would have the first down with a 12-yard pickup, and they're going to bring this one back, it appears.
Illegal shift offense. As the interior line was going down to a 3-point stance, the wide receiver was beginning to go in motion.
It's the third time they've been called for that penalty.
Replay, second down.
Yeah, it's a lack of attention to detail. And unless you pay great attention to detail in this league, these things happen to you right here. And it's a function of youth, too. You know, this is a young quarterback. It's a young team. And they've just got to be more conscious of being right on point pre-snap.
Second down and 10. Back on the 41 of Tampa Bay. Freeman with the quick pass, caught by Mike Williams, spins his way for a first down and finds himself at the 35-yard line of Carolina, picking up 24. Marshall finally caught up with him.
And all day long, when he's been in one-on-one situations, the first guy has not brought him down. So watch on the catch. Richard Marshall, who is a good tackler, misses. That allows him to make the spin, get upfield, and he's had 3 fumbles this year and lost 2. Check out the ball security now. You think they've been working on it with him?
Williams has made up for lost time. Didn't catch much early in the first half at all. And he's averaging 19 yards a reception. First down at the 35. Here is Blount. And you need at least 2 to bring him down. And there is Andre Neblett, undrafted rookie from Temple, leading the way. No gain on the play.
Finally getting some action. He's been inactive for the bulk of this year, having to play today because Greg Hardy suffered a head injury last week against New Orleans. They're promising rookie defensive end, so Neblett up. Hardy stayed home.
Buccaneers seek their first season sweep against Carolina since 2002. Leading by 5, second down and 10. From the 36, here is Blount. And Blount just wheels his way through a host of white shirts and picks up 7 yards with Neblett again, and then Jordan Pugh helping from the secondary.
Great job up front, outside zone run. And we mentioned if he can get to the second level, we can get through that first line of defense, the big guys up front, and put that 249, 250 pounds on linebackers and defensive back, then he's really tough to bring down. He's just too powerful of a man.
Has 82 yards rushing. Most of them, of course, in the first half. We have a lot of time remaining in the fourth quarter. Freeman up the middle. Another good catch by Mike Williams. And a first down at the 15. Munnerlyn was defending and a gain of 12 yards. And this is an impressive Tampa Bay series.
They want him on the slant early, but Josh Freeman waited for him to clear and get Captain Munnerlyn totally on his back. Look at the patience before delivering the pass. So that tells me one thing for sure, Jim. The pass protection was good. That's supposed to be a quick ball, supposed to be out of his hands in a hurry. He was able to hold it longer, let him clear for the completion.
On the 16, first down. Blunt. And Blunt doesn't get anything.
Freeman and Williams have really developed a nice rapport. You mentioned it, Charles. He had the confidence in his offensive line to stick with the route, let him get in what we call the second window of the defense. That's that second opening in the zone, and then fired up there really kind of high and away, knowing that Williams goes up there, has strong hands, and can snatch it at its highest point.
8th play of the drive coming up, 2nd and 10. And they go to Blunt again, but he is tackled from behind by James Anderson. The play was blown dead. So no turnover there, and a loss of 3 yards.
Charles Johnson was saying he snatched the ball on the tackle, and it should have been going the other way. And you saw Josh Freeman talking to LeGarrette Blunt again about ball security. Let's see at the end of this play. I think Charles Johnson may have had a case there that he may have gotten it out before LeGarrette Blunt hit the ground, before the blood, but if the ball was blown dead.
Foxy's going to challenge that.
Yes, he is. There's the red flag. And the challenge before the snap. It is our first challenge of the game.
See, I think this is a terrific challenge for 2 reasons. One, you got to show confidence in your team that they're saying, Coach, we got this. And 2, look at where they are in field position. This could be the drive of the game that determines everything for them. They can't give up a touchdown here.
Now the officials are surrounding John Fox, several of them. And many times they do this when they say this is either a play you can't challenge.
Carolina is challenging the rule on the field that the runner was down by contact.
That's a tough one because the tangle there, trying to see LeGarrette Blunt's knees, makes it difficult.
We'll take a timeout as the referee will review it.
Today's game is sponsored by Ram Trucks. Designed, tested, and proven to be the best trucks we've ever built. Ram. By State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by new Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Turn shaving into gliding and skeptics into believers.
The Carolina Panthers are challenging the ruling on the field that LeGarrette Blunt was down by contact and the ball did not come loose. It is hard to detect the ball coming loose as we look at the replays, guys.
Well, we see the motion of Charles Johnson ripping at the ball, Jim, but can we definitively say that we see the ball coming out? I don't think we can. Look at this pile. I can't see the ball.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field stands. Carolina charged its first timeout of the second half.
That was a good review of that play.
Well, it's a good challenge by John Fox. He needed to challenge that. Could be a very big play in this game. But the officials just didn't have a view that gave them indisputable visual evidence that that ball came out.
And he had to challenge it. Look where they are on the field. Ball's on the 18. He knows with 10:24 to go, offense is tough for him anyway, been all year. He can't afford to give up a touchdown. The challenge had to be made.
And the Panthers charged with their first timeout of the second half. So it's 3rd down and 12. Ball is on the 19 of Carolina. Flag down. Josh Freeman completes to Kellen Winslow. Penalty marker was thrown before Winslow caught the ball.
Legal procedure against the Buccaneers.
We've seen that before against them today, Charles.
I think you decline this one if you're Carolina, don't you, Jim? Make them kick the field goal here?
Absolutely.
See, a field goal, you give up a field goal, it's still an 8-point game.
That'll be the call, and the field goal team comes
Illegal
out.
formation, offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Connor Barth in to try the field goal. That would give the Buccaneers an 8-point lead. Hasn't missed in tries under 40 this year. This will be a 32-yard attempt. kick is good. Connor Barth with a field goal. And the Bucs extend their lead to 24-16. Beautiful day, cloudless sky here in Tampa. David Geddes, who has not returned a kick all year, is back there and starts from the 2 with good speed. David Geddes bringing it out and is tackled from behind, and the flag goes down. E.J. Biggers makes a play. Otherwise, Geddes might have had a lot more.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 25, 10-yard penalty. Carolina keeps the ball. First down.
Steve Smith in a duel with Aqib Talib all day today. Has 3 catches for 47 yards. One was a 34-yarder. And as a result of this penalty, the Panthers will have to start from their 10.
Smith and Talib out wide.
To the bottom of your picture. Under 10 minutes to go in the 4th. Jimmy Clausen taking off and dives forward. He'll pick up 3. So it'll be second down and about 7.
I go back to something you said earlier, Jim, about Jimmy Clausen, how his poise has been terrific today. He did tell us in our meeting that he thought the game was slowing down a little bit more for him. I think we've seen plenty of evidence of that today.
I agree with you. He looks a lot different than he did last week. Last week he looked very rushed.
Second and 7. Here is Goodson. And Goodson gets hit hard. Tim Crowder, providing the big hit, gets up to the 15, picking up 2 more yards.
Now we're getting ready for a big third down, which means the matchup of the day. Steve Smith, wide receiver, Carolina. Aqib Talib, cornerback, Tampa Bay. Talib's assignment, shadows Steve Smith everywhere he goes, even if you have to tug on the jersey a little bit. And for the most part, he's done quite well against Steve Smith. Save this play, a 34-yard completion against Aqib Talib.
And that was a perfect throw, Charles. Third down and 5. Clausen going up top. And it's David Clowney with the catch. David Clowney, who was signed in week 5, and the former Jet with a 25-yard catch, gets the Panthers out of trouble.
Well, here's what's happening. Jimmy Clausen is able to recognize when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense is going to be in man-to-man versus zone by the location of Talib on Smith, and they've been putting Smith in motion to identify that, and then he goes away from him, looks for a matchup, big tall receiver, throws the fade ball up there.
They go to the running game, and Mike Goodson, who's hit hard after maybe picking up a yard. Sean Jones hit him. By the way, Goodson over 100 yards in his first NFL start. Has 103. Those are the numbers for Jimmy Clausen, who took over in week 3 for Matt Moore, faced Cincinnati, New Orleans, and Chicago.
If Tampa's going to play man-to-man defense and Steve Smith is in the slot, then Talib will be there. If they're going to play zone, then they'll be outside, or they could play man. But it depends on if Smith is in the slot or not.
Second and 9, running play to Goodson, trapped behind the line, and down he goes. Michael Bennett coming up to make the play, and a loss of 4 yards with 7.5 to play in the 4th.
Michael Bennett's brother Martellus plays tight end. Watch the pit, and watch here, coming upfield. Vertical penetration by the defensive line. They changed the line of scrimmage and turned it into the backfield of Carolina. No place for Goodson to go. Good job by Geno Hayes getting his hand off the face mask on the tackle.
Now they got a 3rd and long coming up.
And we know right now they're playing zone defense. Look for defense, cover 2 defense right here. You've got Talib up top.
And Clausen stepping up. And throwing the ball away. And it was Rondé Barber who was chasing Clausen from behind. And rather risk a mistake, threw it away. And the Panthers will punt.
And what we saw there was the difference between a quarterback who can run and wants to run the football to help, Jimmy Clausen, that's not his game. Because in that situation, if he took off and ran, he had a chance to make it a fighting chance to maybe even go for it on 4th down. In this case, nowhere to go, had to throw it out of bounds.
Jason Baker will kick. Michael Spurlock hasn't gotten untracked as a returner today. Back deep. This kick a little shorter than the pass, and here's Spurlock. And he is dropped at the 33-yard line by Tony Fiametta. We'll take a break. 8-point lead for the Bucs. 6:40 to go in the 4th.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Windows 7.
And we're back here at Tampa. Josh Freeman, who against the Panthers this year has thrown 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions, after throwing 5 picks last year against this team.
And I think it wouldn't be a bad idea for Tampa to continue to attack a little bit, throw the ball on 1st down. Carolina loaded up for the run game.
They pitch it to Cadillac Williams. And Williams is tackled at the 37 by Nick Harris. Well, next weekend on the Big Ten Network, regional action takes center stage as Ryan Kerrigan and Purdue take on Greg Jones and the Spartans, or Penn State battles the Hoosiers live from Landover, Maryland. It's all next weekend, only on the Big Ten Network. Check your local listing for the game in your area.
And Michigan State in a big race for the Big Ten championship with Wisconsin and Ohio State. Wisconsin with a win over Ohio State, Michigan State with a win over Wisconsin.
All 3 are 9-1 on the year. 2nd down and 7. There's LeGarrette Blount, tripped up, but gets a few anyone. Derek Landry did the play in the backfield, and a flag is down right near the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense, number 7. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Donald Penn, the left tackle. What about the Vikings and the Bears? Kurt Menefee with a game break. Kurt.
Well, it looks like the Bears are beginning to open things open against Minnesota. Jake Cutler's 3rd touchdown pass of the game. Kellen Davis's 1st catch of the year. It's a 19-yard score, 27-13. Looks like Minnesota's going to need to do the comeback thing for the 2nd straight week if they're going to win. Dick, Charles, Jim.
We just mentioned Michigan State. Kellen Davis, a proud Sparty alum, catching that touchdown pass.
He caught it on cue right after our promo of next week's Big Ten Network game.
He understands cross-promotion synergy.
2nd down and 17. Williams. Proves to be tough to bring down originally. Charles Johnson finally does after a gain of 2, using the clock here, Jim.
Using the clock, and an interesting audible. Did you pick up what he was saying? Halle Berry. Halle Berry on A. Halle Berry on A. I'd love to know what that means.
Is this a movie that he's going to watch?
I don't know. We need to find out.
You often wonder what the inspiration is for naming plays.
Well, what happens is you go into these meeting rooms, and the players sometimes come up with some verbiage. They say, well, you know, let's call it this, and they relate it to something, and hey, it makes sense to them.
If it excites them, go with it.
Big rushing game for the Buccaneers, as you saw. But it's 3rd down and 15. Panthers looking to get the ball back. Here comes the blitz. And the flip to Cadillac Williams. And Cadillac Williams close to the 1st down and has it. He has a 1st down to the 45. And a gain of 16 yards. They needed 15. He got 1 more.
And Captain Munnerlyn actually had a chance to make the tackle about a yard short of the 1st down marker, but good determined running by Williams gets it done. The blitz runs right into the face of Josh Freeman, and he throws into the blitz with the screen and takes it the other way.
Great pickup. And now with under 4 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, a 1st down at the 45. Here is LeGarrette Blount trying to go wide. Blount breaks 2 or 3 tackles and gets another 1st down for Tampa Bay. John Beeson brings him down, and another 1st down, and Blount Hard charging rookie running back here.
He's able to get the edge here. We've said it all day. When he gets to the second level, when he gets to your linebackers and he gets to your secondary. Charles, you mentioned it earlier, in the fourth quarter, nobody wants to tackle that big man. And look at the block by Mike Williams there.
Nice job running Chris Gamble to the sideline, opening up the lane.
Blunt with 92 yards, and now 5 defensive linemen for the Panthers on first down at the 45 of Carolina. Here is LeGarrette Blunt, and he gets a couple of yards. Under 3 minutes to go, and the clock stops, and a timeout called by the Panthers. That'll be their second. The first came when they lost a challenge here in the second half. 24-16, the Bucs trying to hold on and win their sixth. Here we are, second down and 9, under 3 minutes to go. And the Panthers, one timeout left, second and 8 for the Bucs on the Panther 43-yard line. Here's Blunt. And Blunt was blunted in his attempt by John Beeson and loses a yard on the play. This young Tampa Bay team trying to win their sixth game, and the Panthers have called their third and last timeout. We'll take a break. 2:52 to go in the fourth. Carolina Panthers are out of timeouts, and a critical 3rd and 11 coming up. And pure and simple, John Fox's Panthers have to make a stop right here.
They do. They've got to make a stop right here. And I wouldn't be surprised, even though it's 3rd down and 10 plus, to see Tampa run it and pick up 4 or 5 and be happy to punt and put the ball in the hands of a rookie quarterback with no timeouts left in the field to drive, needing not only a touchdown but a two-point conversion as well.
Just because he's in gun doesn't mean he's going to throw it.
And they hand it off to Cadillac Williams, who's going to get a first down, and Cadillac Williams is off and scores a touchdown. Touchdown that seals the game. What were you saying, Charles, before the snap?
But Jim and I were talking in the break. Do you run it? Do you throw it? There's no reason to throw it there. I thought Jim's point was excellent. If you don't get the first down, you're going to make them go long field with an inexperienced quarterback, and you still need a two-point conversion. Instead, they break it open right there with the touchdown run.
Connor Bart. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with 2:42 to go, leading 31-16 on the spectacular touchdown run by Carnell Cadillac Williams.
Really well blocked. They call this a trap, an inside trap. Great blocking here by the good job by Larson on the pull, downfield blocks, and then hey, the Cadillac's still running.
And the reason
got some gas left in.
The reason he gets to the third level so quickly is you're really playing 9 in the box at that stage. So once you block the front part and you're able to gash it and get into the secondary, there's usually no one back with any chance of stopping you before a big gain. And how nice is that for Cadillac Williams, who's been supplanted as the #1 runner. He's become the 3rd down back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But he says there's still a little bit left in the tank of the caddy.
And he's embraced his role. You know, they say that he's like a daddy to LeGarrette Blunt. But he's embraced his role, and you know what? That's what real leaders do. Guys like this, he's overcome a lot of adversity, the knee injuries, and it's great if you're a football fan to see a guy persevere through that adversity and break a run like that. It's not great if you're John Fox and the Carolina Panthers, but
David Geddes receiving the kick from the 2-yard line. and brings it out to the 19. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rolling up 31 points and leading the Panthers 31-16. It'll be their first season sweep of Carolina since 2002. And the Buccaneers will go to 6-3. You don't have to go that far back to find out the last time they had this record. Just 2 years ago when they finished 9-7 under John Gruden.
Remember, they were 9-3 at the one stage of that season before losing their last 4 and missing the playoffs by a game that year. This Buccaneers team has designs on going a little bit farther and only 1 game back in their own division.
Jimmy Clausen, 11 for 23 on the day, going underneath to Goodson. And Goodson gets out to the 25. Gino Hayes the tackle, a pickup of 6, no timeouts remaining. And a solid lead now for Tampa Bay.
They'll give Clausen that check down over the middle all day long.
Clausen gets tackled from behind by Dakota Watson. And a gain of 6 yards. So the Buccaneers avoiding back-to-back losses. They have come back from losses with wins every time this year as Raheem and Cadillac embrace at our 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go in the game. It's a 31-16 game, and Josh Freeman, and if you go by quarterback ratings, it's about 132, which is pretty high. LeGarrette Blount, 91 yards rushing, and Mike Williams, who came alive in the second half, 4 catches for 68 yards.
You can figure out that quarterback rating?
Somebody told me in my ear.
You want to see that Syracuse comes right out of you. Good job. What a day.
Lucky to go 2-2. 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. And here's Clausen under pressure. Pass caught by Dante Rosario and goes out of bounds. So the 31 points scored by Tampa Bay, second most of the season. They rang up 38 on Arizona just 2 weeks ago. Coming up next, America's Game of the Week, Cowboys and Giants. And it was Hugh Jim Morris said that it was going to be a little nervous time for Jason Garrett taking over as head coach going back to New York.
I'm sure he's got some butterflies, but as soon as the ball's kicked off, you just go into game mode and you forget all about that. It's just about trying to execute play after play after play.
Clausen, Rosario with the reception. Flags go flying from the secondary. Dante Rosario with a catch.
Initial indication, they're saying personal foul. Are they flagging him for the hit?
Jerome Boger.
Personal foul. Hit on the defenseless receiver. Defense, number 35. 15-yard penalty.
Cody Grimm.
First down.
So it's the rookie safety, Grimm.
Yes.
Well, the reason he's getting him is because the shoulder got up into the head.
Look, I'm all for player safety. As a matter of fact, I'm a huge advocate of doing all we can to protect defenseless receivers, but you've got to let them play the game. And when a receiver catches the ball and then ducks as he's catching it, I don't know how you expect a defensive back to change his launch point, to change his point of aim.
First down, now at the 29 of the Bucs. Jimmy Clausen tackled by Rondé Barber from behind, and that'll go as a sack. That'll be the second of the game and a loss of 3.
And I agree with you, Jim. I think maybe we've got to talk about terminology, because what Jerome Boger said was defenseless receiver. He wasn't defenseless.
No, he wasn't.
He caught the ball, saw the hit coming. If you're saying the hit was to the head, I think everyone can grasp that and buy that and understand that a little bit better.
David Geddes gets to the 15 and a first down with a 15-yard pickup as we wind down to a minute remaining. Of course, a quick touchdown here and an onside kick. And of course, what's really hampering Carolina, no more timeouts. Jimmy Clausen, nowhere to go yet. Knocked away, and there goes another flag down as Steve Smith and Aqib Talib hook up again.
And this is going to be a pitched battle in terms of the argument, because Talib is a physical corner, and so Smith is a receiver.
Defense, number 25. spot the foul, automatic, first down.
That's a horrible call. Okay, I'm going to say that's a horrible call by that official.
Because
they're chicken fighting. They're both going at it. It's equal opportunity. They're both playing the ball.
Both of them have arms on each other, both fighting each other off, trying to come back to the football. It's both physical receivers. I mean, it's a physical receiver, physical DB.
That's a guy he's just.
And look at that, and it looked like an interception too, because Cody Grimm came in behind it, and that looked like he caught the football on the tip.
First and goal at the 5.
And nothing so far in terms of a booth review.
Here's a fade, Clausen, and David Clowney was out of the end zone. That would have been incomplete in any event. Sean Jones covering. Second and goal coming up from the 5.
And look at this pre-snap now. He didn't have Jones out on him. He was wide open, calling for the ball, and Clausen didn't see him. He waited for the coverage to get there to snap the ball. This is a young quarterback, not having complete command yet of the offense.
But I like what he's doing in this 2-minute situation. Doesn't matter about the score. He's gaining experience, taking his team downfield.
Second and goal. There's Goodson. And Goodson, they say he did not get over, stopped short of the goal line by Geno Hayes. And a half a minute remain, no timeouts left. They said the knee was down and a booth review could be upcoming here.
So you see the knees are down here. Ball has not crossed the goal line. I think the booth review will support what they called on the field.
So a furious late stage threat by the Panthers, who are down 31-16. We will have a booth review and we'll take a timeout. And this is what the booth is looking at. The knee of Goodson down before the ball crosses the plane.
The rule on the field is confirmed. The runner was down short of the goal line. Third down.
And a couple of minutes ago, you saw Keith Talib presumably make an interception on the play with Steve Smith, but because interference was called, obviously they wouldn't review that.
Yeah, Cody Grimm came up behind Talib in the coverage on Smith. It looked like he intercepted the ball, but the interference would have wiped that out anyway.
Third and goal from the 1. Quarterback sneak. No signal yet. And the Bucs are indicating that they held, and the clock continues to run. And now a whistle will stop the clock at 14 seconds.
Surprised at the call a little bit here, running Jimmy Clausen on quarterback sneak rather than a lead fullback and a tailback, Jim, because I'd say I am.
Yeah, that's not Josh Freeman running the sneak there.
Josh Vaughn, the running back, but Clausen carries. And the clock stops with 7 seconds and 2 flags are thrown. They brought Vaughn in, and no call was made as for a touchdown or not.
But plenty of flags behind it. Another quarterback sneak and not much push.
The rule on the field is that the runner will stop short of the goal line and the ball goes over to Tampa Bay.
So they tried 2 quarterback sneaks
of the play.
with Jimmy
We also
Clausen.
have an unnecessary roughness penalty against Carolina number 89. That will be assessed at the conclusion of the
And the
play.
penalty
For Steve
against
Smith, number
Carolina.
89. This is the unnecessary roughness coming in and trying to clean up as he takes out Aqib Talib late in the play.
He's trying to protect his quarterback.
As he was trying to clean up what was happening with his quarterback.
Talib took a shot
And that
on Clausen, and it didn't sit too well with Steve Smith, did it?
I think that's a little frustration from another tough day. Steve trying to get open.
I would
That's
think
been
so.
his nemesis all day long.
Yeah.
Here's my chance to clean him out a little bit. Steve Smith took it.
So another booth review, the second one, to see whether Clausen in his second quarterback sneak attempt had gone over. The ruling on the field is he did not, and that would mean the ball game with Tampa Bay taking over.
I know Steve Smith ended up getting the unnecessary roughness. Look, here's the push. I don't think he got over. I mean, and plus, he was aided from behind by Josh Vaughn with a full-out push of Jimmy Clausen towards the end zone. I mean, I think that's an illegal play with the runner. Watch behind it. Watch, Fiametta, 42. See him going to Clausen right there?
And did you see the push by Al Woods over the guard?
Okay, so my understanding from Mike Perry is you can't pull
Look
it
at the
in,
penetration
but you can
inside.
push it
After
from
reviewing the
behind, so it's
play,
not a field play.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. The runner was stopped short of the goal line. First down, Tampa Bay. At the conclusion of the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 89, 15-yard penalty, first down, Tampa Bay.
I've got a question for you, Charles. Talib comes in there and cleans up the quarterback and goes helmet to helmet. Is he not a defenseless receiver in that position? He's held up at the line of scrimmage. He's not getting into the end zone. He has no way to protect himself, and he's the quarterback in this league. Is that not a hit on a defenseless
I would
receiver?
imagine that will be on the desk of Carl Johnson come Monday morning with that question being asked by the Carolina Panthers.
This will be the last play of the game, and the Panthers will go to 1-8 for the first time since 2001. Tampa Bay goes to San Francisco next week, and they win the game to go 6-3 on the year. And the Panthers will host Baltimore. And Raheem Morris's Panthers, who won only 3 games last year, have doubled that total now after 9. And that's it from here. Final score 31-16. The Bucs beat the Panthers. Right now, let's take you to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles with the AT&T Game Break Show.